declaration.
As we celebrate our 50 years of the OAU, we can say that we are also celebrating 50 years of freedom from colonialism and apartheid. As per democratization, we are living through, an end of the period of having repeated coup d'etats. We're increasingly having elections. The quality of these elections are improving, both at the presidential and parliamentary levels. We're increasingly having referenda that are free and fair. And so we can say that that one we have started making quite some progress, but we need to really improve on that, because when it comes to democratization, it's not just about elections, but it's about giving power to the people and ensuring that the citizenry participates in governance, and that the citizens usher in their governments and ensure that their governments deliver.
As other issues was being discussed, it was time for Nigeria's team of diplomats, led by the then Foreign Affairs Minister of Nigeria, Ambassador Olubenga Ashiru, to stamp Nigeria's influence and leadership in the international frontier. And after an intense diplomatic maneuvers, Nigeria won Africa's endorsement for a non-permanent seat at the United Nations Security Council.
In the last 2 years, we have secured for Nigeria and Nigerians 14 positions in various international organizations. That is a very high number by any standard. There is no time since our independence that we achieve this type of performance of having 14 international positions. I mean, look, we have to be fair. Other countries too must also have some posts. And don't forget that it is also enshrined in the principles of even the AU that all these posts should be shared among the various geographical groups within the organization. So don't forget, Nigeria must not be seen also as if we want to take all the posts. It's not a good policy. So where concession is necessary, you make concession. But don't forget, the price of sitting in the Security Council for any country is a golden prize.
United Nations 68th General Assembly was opened in September in New York, in which Nigeria having its agenda to play a leading role in the fight against global terrorism.
Nigeria's election to the United Nations Security Council is a very unusual one. Nigeria sat at the Security Council only 5 times since independence, but twice between 2010 to date. We were there 2010-2011, and we left 2012-2013, and we returned in 2014-2015. That's very remarkable in so many ways. This is a non-permanent seat that rotates among all member states of the United Nations on non-permanent basis for only 2 years, which it cannot be renewed. You have to skip 2 years before it is renewed. For us in Nigeria, we view this as endorsement. First, by the economic community of Western African states. Secondly, by the global community of our efforts in ensuring regional and global peace and security.
As days rolled towards the end of the year, it was one monumental sunset as the late anti-apartheid hero passed away amidst torrents of tributes. Late Dr. Nelson Mandela, fondly called by his clans Madiba. The deep-seated challenge of ethnicity had continued to dictate the political pulse of many African nations, but got out of control in South Sudan with a dispute between President Kerr and its former deputy, Mr. Machar, falling on ethnic lines. United Nations had deployed a peacekeeping force to restore stability in the conflict-ridden nation.
Well, the stake is crystal high for Africa as it looks ahead of the next 50 years to be a world-leading continent. Now, this is the Chronicle for Africa in 2013. You may send your comments to networkafrica@channelstv.com. And here's your Twitter handle on your screen. 2013 has been an exciting year on the program Network Africa, and what can I say? Thank you for being a part of the program Network Africa, and let's do it again this year, 2014. I'm Benga Ashiru saying Happy New Year.
A time comes in the life of every race when people are driven by echoes of the past to chart a course for an exalted future. Africa is at this threshold as major actors in the Africa arena plot a renaissance towards common destiny. Let's pedal across the streams of yesterday, from the backstreets of Africa to the defining roles of policymakers, the political realities of the African nation, balance of power, and the strive to sustain national interest and identity. Join us on Network Africa on Channels Television. Network Africa,